Joining me now is estate planning attorney Ann-Margaret Carrozza. Ann-Margaret, thank you for being here.
Pleasure.
What is so fascinating about this case, I think this is why the nation is gripped by it, is that he wrote out a directive in 2007 when he found out that he had Parkinson's and said, I don't want to be basically kept alive artificially. His wife figured out a way to change that. How often does this happen?
Well, we should all have a healthcare proxy, advanced planning directive. The problem here is that he purportedly had two healthcare proxies, one that was executed in 2007, and then his wife is producing a document supposedly executed in 2011. So when we have two documents, it's landing in court.
Well, it's interesting because I don't know if you remember James Brown. James Brown,
Yeah.
the godfather of soul. Same thing happened with his estate. I mean, he wanted half of the money to go to just underprivileged children, the other half to go to his grandkids for their education, and his wife and his kids fought it, and they won. That's what I can't believe, is that the court systems are actually allowing this to happen, like with Casey Kasem.
Well, whenever you have a second marriage situation, which is really prevalent right now in the United States, you need to take special actions to ensure that the new spouse is not doing battle with the adult children, because it happens all the time.
Is that kind of prevalent, though, in this age of, I mean, what, half of marriages end in divorce, and there's all these blended families?
Well, half of first marriages end in divorce. It's more than half of second marriages that end in divorce. So with a second marriage situation, that's going to end whether it's at death or divorce, and we need to get the estate planning straight to ensure that your wishes are carried out.
Okay, well, let's talk about what people can do. Give us some ideas of what people can do, especially those that, again, are in these blended families, which so many Americans are in now, when you've got a step-parent and children from the first marriage and things like that.
So we need to do a health care proxy, naming someone to make medical decisions in the event that I'm not able to make my own. Then we also want to have a living will. That's where I specifically set forth my health care preferences. And we also want to have a financial durable power of attorney for someone to execute financial transactions.
Now, and then when you say there's a living will, but also you need somebody that's specifically in charge, like power of attorney over your health care decisions.
You absolutely do.
Okay.
Because not every state honors the living will. So your spokesperson is the health care proxy. You can go onto your state Department of Health website, download the health care proxy form. You don't need a lawyer for that. And the living will, your specifics, that you give to your health care proxy agent, so they will hopefully carry out your wishes.
And also we've seen this, well, I guess it's because of the web, but you've seen this prevalence of online kits, online wills, online health proxy. Okay, well, look, you're saying no.
Well, it's sort of like do-it-yourself electrical wiring. It's very, very dangerous. The single most common online document is a trust. But how do you know which one to get? A revocable trust? Sounds great, but everything in it is subject to estate taxes. A purely irrevocable trust? Now we're going to have a capital gains problem for the kids. You want to be somewhere in the middle, but that could be 25 different trusts. You need a lawyer for that piece of it.
You know what I was stunned with is that only 35% of adults even have a will, and I'm actually guilty of that. And then you also have 75% of our people that are 65 and older actually have a will. So we're not doing this until we're later in life.
Exactly. A lot of people are superstitious. But if you're young and you think, I don't need it, I don't really have any assets, think about your kids. You need to do a will to name a guardian for those kids. You don't want to judge appointing who's going to raise your children.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up, because another statistic I was stunned to find out today, 70% of Americans with children under 18 that live with them don't have a will.
It's the most
right,
because it's the most difficult decision. Remember terms of endearment and the gut-wrenching goodbye to the kids scene? None of us want to think about it, but we need to appoint a guardian.
It's fear. It is. It's fear.
It is.
We're afraid that if we do a will, it means that we're
mortal.